Hey there! Do you know what is this? Well, of course, this is money, a precious thing that everyone wants. But have you ever wondered, how can a piece of paper be so valuable? I mean, the paper itself probably costs just a few cents to produce, but when it has the number 100 on it, suddenly it's worth $100. If I gave you a piece of notebook paper and wrote the number 100 on it with a crayon, you'd definitely laugh at me. But for this green piece of paper, you are willing to work 8 hours a day to get it. Here's the interesting thing. You can't eat this money. You can't use it to build a house to shelter you from the rain. And if you burn it for warmth, you're even breaking the law. So what's the deal? Why do we trust its value so blindly? Well, this powerful piece of paper is called fiat money. And no, it's not the Italian Fiat car. In this video, we'll break down the concept of fiat money, explain why we switched from trading chickens for shoes to swiping plastic cards, and discover the real secret that keeps this system from collapsing. To understand why the bill in your wallet has value, we must go back in time to a moment when money didn't even exist. Imagine you are a chicken farmer. You have plenty of chickens and eggs, but the problem is your shoes are worn out and you need a new pair. So, you grab your chickens, go to the shoemaker, and say, "Hey buddy, I'll trade these 5 fat chickens for those boots, okay?" This is called the barter system. Sounds simple and fair, right? But the trouble starts immediately. What happens if the shoemaker doesn't want to eat chicken? Let's say he's allergic to eggs or he's craving bread. At this point, you're stuck. You have to run to the baker, trade your chicken for bread, and then rush back to the shoemaker to trade the bread for shoes. Economists call this nightmare the coincidence of wants. It's too troublesome and time-consuming. Humans needed a better solution, something that everyone agreed had value. We tried using shells, salt, and even giant stones. Finally, the whole world chose gold and silver. Why gold? Because it's shiny, it doesn't rust, and most importantly, it's rare. You can't just print more gold in your basement. For a long time, paper money was actually just a receipt. If you had a $10 bill, it was like a claim ticket. You could take that paper to the bank and boldly demand, "Exchange this for the amount of gold worth $10. This system is called the gold standard. It kept things honest because the government couldn't print more paper money if they didn't have enough gold in the vault to back it up. But then a historic breakup happened. Fast forward to 1971. The US was spending too much money on war and social programs, and they printed more paper money than the gold they actually had. Other countries started to get suspicious and demanded to exchange dollars for gold to take back home. Realizing the gold reserve was running dry, President Richard Nixon went on TV and announced the cancellation of exchanging dollars for gold. This event is called the Nixon Shock. From that moment, the dollar became fiat money. The word fiat comes from Latin, which means "let it be done" or "so be it." It's like a king's command. Basically, the government declared, "This paper is money because we say it is money." And just like that, the link to gold was completely severed. Today, almost all currencies in the world, from the Japanese yen to the euro, are fiat money. They aren't backed by anything tangible at all. This leads to the biggest question that keeps many people awake at night. If it's just paper, or worse, just digital numbers on a computer screen, why doesn't it collapse? Why can you still use it to buy a loaf of bread or a carton of milk? The answer lies in 3 invisible but extremely powerful pillars. The first pillar is trust. Money is a social construct. It only works because we are all playing a psychological game together. As one viewer commented perfectly on our channel, money is just paper with images. Its entire value comes from collective belief. The moment that trust disappears, it becomes worthless overnight. You accept getting paid in cash because you trust that the cashier at the supermarket will also accept that bill in exchange for food. The second pillar, which people often forget, is taxes. You might not like holding cash, but you absolutely need it. Why? Because the government has guns and jails, and they require you to pay taxes. Just try bringing 10 chickens or a pile of Bitcoin to the tax authority. They won't accept it. They only accept the currency they issued themselves. This creates a mandatory and permanent demand for that currency. It's like the government saying, "If you want to live peacefully here, you have to use my money." The third pillar, and the most important one, is scarcity. If we all woke up tomorrow morning and found $1 billion under our pillows, would we get richer? Not at all. At that point, the price of a liter of milk might skyrocket to $500 million. Value comes from the fact that it is limited. If there's too much money chasing too few goods, prices will skyrocket. That is exactly what we call inflation. To understand more about the disaster when the government prints too much money and why we can't just print money to make everyone rich, I've already made a video explaining this in detail, so make sure to check the link right here. And speaking of printing money, have you ever wondered who actually controls this giant money printer? You might think it's the president or Congress, but the surprising answer is not them. In the US, that power belongs to the Federal Reserve, also known as the Fed. And here's a secret that confuses many people. The Fed is not entirely a government agency. It operates independently, and some people even call it a private cartel that controls the money supply. They are like the referee of the economy. But this is a dangerous game full of mysterious corners. By the way, if you're curious about the dark tricks criminals use to make dirty money look legal in this banking system, check out my video, How Money Laundering Works, right now. However, there is one special thing that makes the US dollar completely different from the currencies of other countries like Venezuela or Zimbabwe. Have you ever wondered why the US can print trillions of dollars without collapsing immediately? That is thanks to a special power called the Petrodollar. For decades, oil, the most important commodity in the world, has been priced and traded mainly in US dollars. If France, Japan, or Brazil want to buy oil, they must buy US dollars first. This creates a massive global demand, helping the US export its inflation to the world. I've explained this hidden power in detail and the reason why different currencies have different values in another video. If you want to understand this currency war deeper, watch the video Why Different Currencies Have Different Values right now, linked in the description. It will explain everything you need to know about this hidden power. The story of fiat money also splits the world into two sides with heated debates. On one side, there are supporters of hard money, like gold or Bitcoin. They argue that fiat money is a spectacular scam. Since the government can print unlimited money, your savings will gradually lose value over time. They call inflation a hidden tax hitting the poor and the middle class, the people who hold cash instead of assets. On the other hand, mainstream economists believe that a little inflation, around 2%, is actually good. Why? Because if money becomes more valuable, which is deflation, you won't dare to spend it. Instead, you'll stuff it under your mattress and wait for its value to go up. If everyone stops spending, businesses will go bankrupt and the economy will stall. No matter which side you support, understanding the nature of that piece of paper in your wallet is the first step to protecting yourself. Money isn't magic, it's a tool, a system, and a game. If we don't understand the rules of the game, we'll forever be pawns on someone else's chessboard. Here's the simplest way I can explain it. If money grew on trees, it would be as valuable as leaves. Hope this helps. Now you know what money is and why it has value. But the story doesn't stop there. What happens when the people running this system make mistakes? What happens when the national debt becomes too massive to repay? In the next videos, we'll dive deeper into the scarier parts of the financial picture. How the 2008 financial crisis happened, the truth about national debt, and whether we are moving toward a new currency called CBDC, or Central Bank Digital Currency. I'll also talk about how to protect your wealth through real estate and basic investing. If you want me to make other videos explaining these topics, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.